Gia Ditch. Listen to Kneecap. Is that how we're starting this live stream? Welcome, I'm Rob. I do news commentary. I comment on the news. That's what that means. Which is funny because that's what like 98% of the media does now. When you're watching something that says news, it's usually just an opinion piece. But people mistake it for the news. They mistake these people who went to journalism school, and some of them didn't even do that. Some of them just had daddy's friends help them out. But they're mistaking these people for intelligent folks when they're just talking heads. What's up, CJ? Good to see you. Good to have you here. I don't know if you got to catch old deficit Donnie's interview on ABC, NBC, CBS. Who gives a kick? With Tanner Morchley. I don't know. All these, it's so funny. These journalists all have the same. I think to be a journalist, your parents have to name you something so like flatline. Their names are all like color schemes. Tanner Morton. Tanner Fuchsia. This is Tandem Jumps with your White House interview. I don't even know any of these news people anymore. But some guy got invited to the Oval Office and interviewed Trump. And boy, oodalali, link in the description if you missed it. You can watch it on like two speed, 1.5 speed. And once you get to the point where deficit Donnie starts freaking out, take it off the 1.5 speed and watch. Because you're going to watch a grown man, the leader of the free world. I always think like if Putin or Zelensky or Mark Carney, that Canadian fellow that just won the election, or I don't know, the chaps, the mad lads in London. Hey, what's up, Alyssa? What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. But I always think about other world leaders watching these interviews on YouTube. Like, damn, this dude is having a meltdown right now. Old deficit Donnie's having a temper tantrum because the interviewer didn't play nice. And what I mean by play nice is the interviewer asked him questions and didn't just say, yes, sir, yes, sir. Donald doesn't like any pushback, okay? Deficit Donald, old tariff Trump, does not like pushback. He doesn't like anything where he can't just say what the truth is. Deficit Donald and his supporters, I would like to believe, really enjoy that about him. They want people to just hear what they have to say and take that as fact. They want their feelings, whatever they feel is true, to just be a fact. A reporter at least try to hold his own and hold his feet to the fire. That's right, CJ. Listen, as much as I don't care about these journalists, I just don't think any of them are here to help the people. I think they're all from aristocratic backgrounds. I will say that Tanner Mortuary, or whoever interviewed Deficit Donnie, he did a good job. He held Donald's feet, tiny little feet, to the fire, his little toddler-esque toes. Maybe that's why Deficit Donnie's always leaning forward when you see him in pictures. He's very top-heavy. He looks like the opposite of a Russian doll. Like if you took a Russian doll and you put it upside down and it had them big hips on the top, that's how Donald looks. He always looks like he's waddling and leaning over. But Deficit Donnie did not like having questions asked and then being told, I don't know if you caught this, but when talking about Abrego Garcia being deported with no due process and false information, Donald said, old deficit Donald said he had MS-13 tattooed on his hand. And the reporter, old Tantuary Morchum, whatever his name is, I don't know his name. My apologies to that dude. He did a good job in the interview. But Tanner Mortuary, here in the Oval Office. You can tell he comes from wealth. Tanner Mortuary, or whoever. Hey, what's up, Tamara? Good to see you. Good to see you back. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can join me every weekday. I'm here doing news commentary. And I did link, if you missed the Donald Trump interview, I linked the YouTube video down below. It's long. Skip around to the good parts where deficit Donald is just throwing a tantrum. But Donald said, oh, he had tattoos on his hands. It said MS-13. And old Tanner Mortuary, the journalist, that's not his real name, but I don't know what it is. Somebody correct me in the comments. Tanner Mortuary pulled out a picture. He was like, boom, he said, show me where it says MS-13. And Deficit Donald said, let me show you a picture, meaning like, let me get the photoshopped one that my people made to show me so I could say this without, hesitation. So I could just say that I saw it myself. And remember, Deficit Donald is like 90 years old, okay? So this dude probably doesn't even know what Photoshop means. He was amazed at the word groceries. That shows you he's so wealthy, he hasn't had to go shop for groceries in decades. He has always had probably maids and nannies and wealthy people who have whatever, house cleaners or shoppers. His daddy, Fred Trump, old Deficit Donnie's daddy, Fred Trump, made sure he grew up with a golden spoon, not even a silver one. But Donald probably doesn't understand the concept of Photoshop, that he had, big balls and Doge Doggy working on Photoshop photos to show Deficit Donnie. But Tanner Mortuary, the journalist, interviewing him, said that was Photoshopped. He said, whatever photo you have is Photoshop. He was like, clearly Photoshopped. And Donnie didn't like it. He said, you're coming in here and you're asking fake questions. You're being not very nice. It's amazing. The people, the party of don't have feelings for people, who don't be empathetic, don't be compassionate to people. As soon as somebody isn't compassionate or has no empathy for them or just holds them to the truth, they're like, you're so mean. You're not a nice, frankly, you're the meanest guy I've ever met. Everybody around me says, yes, President, MS-13, we see it clearly. You are a mean, mean man. They're always the victim. And it's just hilarious because this dude really couldn't get over the fact that this journalist, Tanner Mortuary, or whatever his name, Tandem Jump, I don't know what his name is, Tandem Jump, the journalist interviewing Deficit Donald, was like, yo, that is a photoshopped photo of tattoos. He said, you're so frankly, can I call you frankly? Franklin, you are a mean one. And he was livid. Oh, Adam Johnson, come back with some better trolling. Oliver Foster. Are you from England? Oliver. Every time I see that name. Logan, why you hate Trump? Well, I'm telling you why, Logan. Logan, you're a young kid, so you have time to, not be brainwashed. But Trump is not a good dude. Just what I said. Ice cream man, fun time. Felipe, welcome. Hit subscribe and notification bell. But Logan, there's many reasons not to like Trump. One of them being that he can't tell the truth. I don't know if the men in your life, we got a real problem with young men in this country, thinking that lying is cool. Thinking that being mean to people is cool, but they usually do this behind a facade of some sort, like being a tough guy or doing it online, because I don't know too many people that, if you're walking down the street and someone says, oh, excuse me, they turn around and go, yeah, that's right, get out of my way. Like, people don't normally act like that, but the culture that Fox News Fox Opinion Piece has generated, I want ice cream too, that the culture that's been cultivated by these Republicans under Trump and the maggots is like, nobody deserves empathy unless it's me. It's a very selfish, grandiose mindset. And it's just dumb, Everything they say is a lie. And they're racist. So, I don't know, Logan, there's a lot to hate on Trump. We're not going to list the ways, but just look up, Donald's lies. And if he's not lying, then he has nothing to say. Thank you, tomorrow. Yes, exactly. There we go. That summarizes it perfectly. Thank you, tomorrow. If Donald Trump isn't lying, he's got his mouth closed, okay? That dude is like, he can't not lie. But that's how he's trained from birth, His dad didn't love him, and you had to be better than you were. This is the issue, I really feel, with what I've seen about Donald's family and his cousin Mary writing stuff. And from what I've read and just the interviews and, all the different things that have come out. It's like Fred Trump, Donnie's daddy, the old Deficit Donnie's daddy, really was a ruthless, borderline criminal real estate tycoon in New York. That's why Donnie has money. That's why Donnie is who he is. Donald didn't do shit. Every business Donald had failed. Like, he's not known for anything, you know? He's known for having buildings that weren't his. You know what I mean? Like, people forget. I mean, it's lost on people, and this is why they want to defund your schools and not have you understand anything, because they want to tell you the legend of them, and they don't want you to look into any of the truth about it. So Donald, old deficit Donnie, had to be ruthless and had to claim he was something he wasn't to get any attention from his dad. And when you grow up like that, that's got to be a horrible thing. You can't just be yourself, you know? And this is, I don't know, the future I want is like people to, if you say America is the land of the free, then I believe that you should just be able to be you. You shouldn't have to be something you don't want to be. You shouldn't have to pretend to be something else. And Donald couldn't do that. He had to pretend he was a ruthless, the smartest, the best, because that's all his dad respected, and his dad didn't respect him. And when you grow up like that, there's a pit, there's a hole in your soul, and it needs to be filled. And that's why it doesn't matter. He could have all the money in the world. That's what I always say. I always say, like, Elon Musk has billions of dollars. Donald Trump now has billions of dollars. He was probably borderline broke when he ran for president. These people have billions of dollars. You think if you had that much money, right, you'd be like, yeah, well, there's obviously enough to go around. Like, we should help hungry kids and kids with cancer, and we should help old folks. And these people are doing the opposite. They're hurting old folks and kids and vulnerable minorities and anybody. They're hurting anyone they can. They're hurting even wealthy people. Look at trillions wiped out of the stock market. And the reason all that's going on is because it's not about how much money they have, how many golden statues they have in the Oval Office. By the way, look at in the beginning of the interview with Donald Trump that happened last night. I linked it down below. Donald's like showing off the aesthetics of the Oval Office, and it looks like a Trump Tower place. It's gross. Like, I don't know. I couldn't live around a bunch of fake gold statues. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Ancient Rome? Like, who cares? Put some cool art up there. You know, I'd have a black, listen, what would you have? Tell me in the comments. If you were in the Oval Office and could decorate it, what would you put? I would put a black light, probably Mushroom or Jimi Hendrix poster, or a Gonzo. I would put a black light Hunter S. Thompson Gonzo poster. For one of the large posters. Actually, maybe a blacklight tapestry of Hunter S. Thompson. I'd have that hanging behind the Oval Office desk. And then you turn on the black light, and every time I did a TV interview, I'd flip on the black light, and you'd be like, oh, look at his teeth. Weird. Oh, look at how dirty his shirt is. And I'd be like, I don't give a shit. What president you know have a black light? And that's what I think about sometimes when, hello, Karake, D1R. Like Saddam's palace. Holy shit. Orpheus, oh my God, welcome, by the way. I didn't see you sneak in. And Karake, welcome. Hit subscribe and notification bell. But Orpheus just said, the way Donald Trump decorates looks like Saddam's palace, and you're 100% correct. There's something with fascist dictators that, like, need to surround. They're almost like those goblin dragons of folklore, where they need to, like, sit on a pile of gold to let everyone know how rich they are. It's hilarious. But that is, I'm gonna steal that, Orpheus, because that is so accurate and so clever, so well said. Yes, Donald Trump decorates like it was the goddamn palace in Iraq for Saddam. Take a minute to enjoy that, folks. What a gem. Orpheus, hit subscribe and the notification bell. Please come back. How would you decorate the Oval Office? Because I'm telling you, I would have it look, and that's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking about Trump. Everybody said, oh, he's an outsider. You know, Trump used to claim to be a Democrat, a liberal. But I just think he goes where the money is. You know, he'll go wherever he thinks he can make the most money. Because Trump, deficit Donnie, thinks money's going to make him happy. What he doesn't realize is just the love of his father would have made him happy. And that moment's long gone. You know, deficit Donnie is 90 years old. Abigail, how are you? Abigail has a question, and we'll take it. We'll put a pin in that comment. Let me know in the comments how you would decorate the Oval Office if you were in there. Pin in that. Abigail's question: if I'm 99 pounds and eat nachos, am I also 1% nacho? I'm not sure about that, but I would assume so. I'm not good at math, Abigail. I'm not the one to ask. Difference is Saddam used real gold. That is, CJ, that is the only difference between Saddam and Deficit Donnie is Saddam had real gold. I wouldn't listen. You would not. It would not surprise me if Donald in the tour, I didn't watch the whole tour because I was like, I don't want to see his gold shit. I've been seeing this gold palace vibe since the 80s with Donald. But it wouldn't surprise me if he was like, and my very good friend from Iraq gave me that. You might know him, you might remember him, Saddam. He gave me that gold statue. I would not be surprised if Trump had a statue from Saddam. Trump does not know what it means to love. He doesn't. Elon doesn't. None of these fools do. But people really thought he was going to run as an outsider. And the sad part is like, he could have, but when you're a greed addict like Donald is, just greed, more. Look at him, the picture with the McDonald's spread out. You know that dude is a sloppy sloth. Deficit Donnie is a gross greed addict. It doesn't matter if it's money, gold looking stuff. He just wants more and more. And the same thing is with his lack of empathy. His obtuse cruelty is greed driven. He just wants more. And you see it come out in this interview. I mean, what grown man could you watch in an interview where he's like, you're very mean. You're not going along with what I said. That's what Donnie says. He's like, you could just say yes, that you saw the picture I gave you and move on, but you're not. You're mean. And it's like, God, how are no adults in Donald's life, Deficit Donald's life, being like, you sound like a weak puss saying people are mean to you because, they're calling you out on a lie. Like, if anybody did that in my real life, I'd be like, oh my God, Captain Sensitive over here. All right, sensitive boy. Are you very upset? Like, somebody needs to do that to him. Curtis, what's up? Trying not to quit my job right now, dude. I'm so sick of these entitled a-holes trying to blame our price changes on me because it could never be the tariffs' fault. Ooh, that is a good point. Stick a pin in it for a second. Trump loves gold and money. Nothing changed him. Well, so let me just finish an attention addict. That's right. Teabag is. Old Deficit Donnie. Old Trump, tariff Trump. Curtis, I want to talk about that in a second because that's a fascinating thing, and I also have an article linked down below. But Donald could have ran, Deficit Donnie could have ran as an outsider, right? If he wasn't a greed-driven monster, a cruelty monster, the kind that hides under your bed and hopes to take away your health care. If he wasn't a greed-driven monster and his daddy if Fred Trump just hugged Donald once, genuinely give Donald a hug. And his cousin, Mary Trump, says, like, men didn't hug in our family. And I know that's like a thing, and I think it's stupid. I kiss my son all the time. And my dad made a point to tell me, he said, my dad will only shake my hand. He came from that generation. He said, I want my son to know that I love him and hug him. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's an amazing thing. And boys need that, Men need that. Even grown men. Look at Donald. Donald needs a fucking hug from Fred Trump. But Fred is dead, and Donald's knocking on that door at 90 years old or 125 years old. However, I don't know. How old is a goblin? How old can greed goblins live till? Probably like 400, so we're fucked. But Donald running as an outsider, he could have gone into that White House and said, I'm giving everyone health care with our tax. He could have just done whatever he wanted, right? Because that's what he's doing. He's disobeying court orders, running over the Constitution, wiping the Constitution with his McDonald's salad shooter of a butthole. And this guy is just disobeying every law. He's a criminal, a felon. He's gross, misogynist, all these things, right? But think about if he had used that power for good. It's like Elon and Donald just want to be liked. And all they had to do is like give everybody health care with the tax money we already pay. Wipe out people's debt, help people afford a home, guaranteed paid vacation, parental leave. Like, they could have broken the mold doing this. And I go off the I'm going off this tangent because I was thinking when Deficit Donald decorates the White House, it just looks like his apartment in Manhattan, if you've ever seen pictures of that. And it's gross. It looks like Saddam's palace, what Orpheus said, which is hilarious. And if I was in the White House or if some outsider went in, why wouldn't you have like murals of Hunter S. Thompson, have some people come in and do a big graffiti thing of Kneecap, the Irish band? I mean, you could make that so cool, and who's going to tell you no, right? The Supreme Court can't even tell Deficit Donald what to do. So decorate that bitch like you're going to die someday, you know? Goosey games, men lead love too. Well, not necessarily. I thought their whole shtick was that they don't care if they're liked. That's their shtick, but every action they do, I mean, just read between the lines. Look at the Deficit Donald interview, correct? Last night. He wants to be liked. That's all he wants. Everything is a plea for, why do you think Donald if he didn't care if he was liked or not? And I mean, like, what his words, remember, he's a liar. He's a proven liar. He's like a pathological liar. He can't not lie, like Tamara said. If he ain't lying, it means his mouth is closed. He doesn't know what to say other than lie. So never mind what his words say, okay? Because I could tell you I'm a green dragon, but you'd be like, well, I'm looking at you, and clearly you're not a green dragon. So sometimes words don't matter. It's your actions, right? And if Donald didn't care about being liked, when his poll numbers came out, the lowest poll numbers of a president in 80 years, he would have said, I don't care. If he didn't really care, he would have said, I don't care. I'm doing what my people want me to do, right? Like if I was getting into the office and I was giving people health care with their tax money they pay, and they said, oh, your poll numbers are the worst ever, I'd say, I don't care. I'm providing for the people. I'm helping the people. I'm making sure nobody dies of a sickness that we have a cure for because some CEO wants to get rich. I would say, I don't care. Donald didn't say that. He said the pollsters need to be investigated for election fraud, which doesn't even make sense, but that's what he said. Again, he's at like a 6th grade fucking level. Lee, what's going on? Good to see you. Tacky Trump. He is a snowflake. So let's go back. I really want everybody to watch this interview and watch. If you're a young man, don't watch this the way you're going to. Okay, I need you to watch this and see that adult men, and I mean, he's like senior citizen. He's almost 100. Shouldn't act like this when questioned. Cool, calm, collective under pressure. That's a real man. You know, not fucking getting upset because someone didn't go along with what you said is not the sign of a true man. Whatever a true man is, you know? I don't even buy into that shit, but I'm trying to speak to the young men in the audience if you end up watching this. And I want you to watch how much of a squealing swine he is when he gets questioned or when he's held to account for things. Like when he says, do you believe Putin? You know, when he's talking about the war in Ukraine. When he's talking about how much he wants to be liked. Well, nothing would have happened without me. He just needs him to be the savior. And if not, he's the victim. He's got the hero-victim complex. So please watch this interview. Now, did you see him not? Yes, Orpheus, you might have came in late. But I was saying he had a tantrum over the Photoshop. They said Abrego Garcia, he said, we deported Abrego Garcia. He had MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. And they were like, no. Tandem Jump or Tanner Mortuary, whatever the journalist was like, that was Photoshopped. Orpheus, I'm pretty positive he didn't know what Photoshop was. I'm pretty positive his team around him has not told him Photoshop exists and they just Photoshop everything, so he just believes it. And he's like, I'm not lying. I saw it with my own eyes. Because when Tanner Mortuary, the journalist, was like, here's a photo. Show me where it says MS-13. He was like, let me get my photo. And the journalist was like, your photo is Photoshopped. We've seen it. It's been proven to be a Photoshop. It's fake. And I mean, here's the other thing. It's a tattoo. So if you want proof, just go get the guy, take a picture. You know what I mean? Like put him on a live stream and have him show his hand. This is easily solvable. But again, to Logan, if you're still here, Donnie Deficit Donnie is a liar. Nothing he says is true. So Curtis, I want to go back real quick. If I hate anyone more than you, it's Trump. Okay. I'll take it. The fact that it was so obvious is he being corrected and still doubts it is insane. Well, none of this is supposed to be sane. Sunny in the Pacific Northwest, amazing to hear. Tariffs are paid by us. Well, Curtis, so I want to talk about that because Apple, there's an article today that says Apple is expecting to have empty shelves like a third world nation, they said. Like pre-industrialized or like up-and-coming nations, we're expecting to have empty shelves. And I've noticed at my own work, we're out of a ton of things. Like there's stuff every day. People are like, do you have any sleeves? Do you have any coffee stoppers? Do you have any this? We're just running out of stuff. So today I was like, asked my boss, I was like, are they telling you this is the Trump tariff? That old tariff Trump is causing this? And they were like, no, I asked, it's very like elusive, but it's nothing else. We've had the supply lines effed up in 2020 when we had the pandemic, and you see the shelves get empty, long lines. Everything they said about communism and socialism happened during capitalism, okay? So that's the other proof we need a new system is we've been living in this and it's not been going great. That's how we're here. But I was asking my work and they just wanted to deny it. I think whenever it gets to be political, and again, everything's political, the reason you won't have toilet paper in a month, politics. The president, Deficit Donnie, wanted to start a war so he could come out looking like a war hero because God knows he took deferments to avoid the real military. But he wanted to start a war to look like a hero, and here he is shooting everybody in the foot. But I'm noticing it, Curtis, and people are going to, especially depending on what region of the country, they're going to pretend it's everything else. They'll blame the last president. They'll say anything, but it's happening, and it's happening slowly. There's a truck driver who's on YouTube and does videos. I remembered his name. It's the truck driver's YouTube channel is called The Enemy from Within, and he's a truck driver, and he talks about the supply line issues already happening. So I would check him out. The Enemy from Within. Great YouTuber. I left him a comment the other day. I was asking if he would come on here, but unfortunately on YouTube, there will be channels. He's got like 40,000 subscribers and I don't know. They don't say this. I've seen one big YouTuber say this on video, but most of the YouTubers think like if I have a big channel and they have a small channel, I don't want to give them the traffic. And I'm not saying he does, but I've seen YouTubers do that. And I hate that because I don't give a shit if you have 10 subscribers. I don't even care if you're on YouTube. I would talk to you. When I get to 7 million subscribers and we're bigger than Philly DeFranco, I don't care if they have 1,000 subscribers or not. I will still talk to them. I hate that classist fucking thing. But The Enemy from Within, and you guys know, if you've been with me for a while, I've been doing this for over a year. Hit subscribe and notification bell. I'm live every weekday. You know that I'll promote any channel that I believe in. It doesn't matter, subscriber count. So I don't like that kind of classist behavior on YouTube. But yeah, the Deficit Donnie shelves are going to be tariff trumped out of stock. And Curtis, if you're feeling that right now, I'm telling you, my work won't admit it, but I keep saying, you know, is this old Deficit Donnie's trade war happening? Because we haven't been out of stock of this many things in a long time. And you're going to start noticing it. So pay attention, folks. And when it happens, call it what it is. This is the tariff from Trump. This is Trump tariffs. This is the trade war. China, 145% trade war still going on. So you got to call it what it is. Let these people know. Just like Donnie wanted the Donnie bucks during the pandemic, even though it had nothing to do with him. Congress passed that money. He wants the recognition, so give it to him. This is old Deficit Donnie's trade war, the Trump trade war that's going to eliminate our economy. It's going to hurt all of us, man. Look at the ports, they're empty, yup. Trump is in charge as he did this. Are you a triple Trumper? Triple Trumper. Right about one thing, though. They said if I voted for Kamala, there would be a recession. Well, Trump gave you a recession. Trump's going to fucking decimate the economy. Trump is absolutely horrific. But again, just look at his past. Look at his businesses. The failed casino owner, the bankrupting a casino guy is going to like do us well. Give me a break. No, I voted for Harris and now we're going through a recession. If I voted... Yo, CJ, you got to understand. I think Orpheus is a fucking slick one. I really like Orpheus. My God. Very funny. Holy that was a joke bomb. Orpheus let that one drop and just walked away in slow motion like an action hero. Boom. No, I voted for ours and now we're going through a recession. God damn. Orpheus, you might have to come on the live stream. Very funny. I don't know, do you do YouTube? Are you like a comic or something? Because I am intrigued. Hello, James. All right, so yeah, check out the Trump interview. Old deficit Donnie, the tariffs by Trump, the Trump trade war, going to empty out the shelves. There's already articles talking about it. I mean, we just talked about Amazon won't even put the import Trump charge. Your charges, your costs are going to be trumped up because of deficit Donnie's trade war. And Amazon is, Jeff Bezos is a dog on a leash. Trump just yanked his leash and said, no, oh, no, you don't. You're not putting the deficit Donnie surcharge on there. And they backed down. So always wonder how other countries had empty shelves. Oh, yeah, it's happening. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you. I'm not this funny in real life. Just nice to actually find a political street and not raging at and trying to... Yeah, I love those facts people, Ben Shapiro. He's the hypothetical, let's say, Aquaman of heroics. I hate him. Lee, what's up? Good to see you. Raspusha, hello. Good to see everybody here. Good to see everybody. Thank you guys for spending some time with me in your day. I know everybody's miserable and just trying to survive, so I really do appreciate everybody and anybody that stops by, even the trolls. Soulless Bandito, you guys aren't here, but what's up? Jordan, good to see you. Tamara came back. Alma, CJ, Orpheus, lighten up. You can say you're not that funny in real life, and that's what I mean. Here's the thing. So Orpheus is this is an excellent moment. So Orpheus goes, I'm not that funny in real life, right? That's the mark. So to me, what that said, what I understood that to me is like, all right, this is a funny person. This is a funny person, and who would want to be like, yeah, I'm hilarious. You want to meet me in person. But the thing is if that was Trump I was talking to, and I said, you're very funny, they would have said, oh my God, you got to see me with my friend. I'm the funniest. Everybody says I should be a stand-up. Like, that's not fucking cool. And that's what Trump does with everything. You give him an inch, he goes a mile. And the real character, I just want to say character of a human, because it's not man, woman. I put this on humanity in general, is how Orpheus answered. And I'm not trying to point anyone else. I'm not trying to point anyone out. I'm just trying to say, like, when you give somebody a compliment and they go, oh yeah, I'm the best looking there ever was. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, I should not have said anything. As opposed to like, no, please, like, I look horrible, stop. That, there's just some kind of character in that. Because I was like, Orpheus has been on fire in the comments. He said like, oh, no, I'm not that funny. We need more people like that. We need more people to have a little bit of humility. I live in OKC. Did you see the ice raid? Oh my God, I didn't want to talk about it, but yes, I seen that in the news. The ice raid at the wrong house. And the most powerful thing was the quote from the lady who said, I'm a Second Amendment believer. I have a gun. She said, and when people broke in, my daughters were here. I thought we were getting robbed because they're coming in. These ICE agents are coming in plain clothes. This is so crazy. Like, this is what I mean. It doesn't matter what you think. It's like we have a structure in the society which does need to be torn down, but we have rights, and we have, our castle, our home, that Deficit Donnie is infringing upon. That's why the thumbnail is a quote from Thomas Jefferson. It says, rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. It's raining for almost a week straight. Oof. Oh, and they threw him outside into the mud half naked. Oh God, that is horrible. The Mikado 16, the hardest workers don't have to tell you they are. Everyone just knows. 100%. ICE is the Gestapo. Chicken Jockey. Thank you, Lone Knight, for bringing a Chicken Jockey into the chat. I respect that. I love Chicken Jockey as a thing in the culture right now. I love it. In the pop culture sphere. I love that. They stole the electronics and cash. Oh, God. That is a nightmare. My heart goes out to those people. We need to do something. Stand up, take part of a protest, have your voice be heard that this is not America. No kings here. All right, guys, I have to go, but please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join me tomorrow. CJ, thank you for being here. Much love to you in the Pacific Northwest. That's amazing that you got some sunshine out there. We do too. Orpheus, Tamara, please come back tomorrow. Lee, can't wait for you to start your channel. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace.